What is going on, guys? It is Ryan Norton's Gaming here, and we are back with another video, and specifically a tier ranking video. So the last time I ranked all the Call of Duty Zombies maps sort of by like worst to best, and today we're going to go for Easter egg difficulty. Now, just in case you're new to the channel or new to the concept, an Easter egg's basically like in Call of Duty Zombies was a set of steps you have to complete to essentially complete the map in effect. So a lot of the time there'll be set steps you have to do, and then you'll get a cutscene and stuff like that. And some steps and Easter eggs are easier than others, so I'm going to go through that today. So Nacht, Dirt, and Toten. So Nacht, Dirt, and Toten, no Easter egg. There isn't one as far as to my knowledge, unless it exists and I know for about it. But this is the first map ever made and there's no Easter egg. Same with Verucht, same with Shino Numa. Now, the Reese actually has an Easter egg. It's a very small Easter egg. To say this counts an Easter egg is debatable. I'm going to count for this video, but a baby could do it. It's very simple. You just shoot a teleporter outside of the map. You shoot like a little power switch thing, and then you just have to find 3 objects around the map. They're all in the same position every time. You just shoot them with a pack-a-punch weapon, and then that's the Easter egg completed, really. Kino de Toten doesn't have an Easter egg either. 5 doesn't have an Easter egg, and Dead Ops Arcade doesn't have an Easter egg. Now we're getting into the juicy stuff. So Ascension. Does have an Easter egg. It was probably the first proper main quest Easter egg that was made at the time. I wouldn't say a baby could do it. I wouldn't say it was that easy, but I would say it's an easy Easter egg. The steps are very simple. There's not really much to it. A lot of it's just sort of like pressing switches at the right time, going the lunar lander and spelling the word lunar. There's not much to it. The only problem with the Easter egg is it could be considered a little bit annoying is the RNG involved with getting the right weapons. But other than that, it's not too bad. Call of the Dead. Now, Call of the Dead's a tricky one for me, in the sense that there's actually 2 Easter eggs. There's a solo version and a co-op version. In this tier list, they haven't got that available, so I'm going to have to just sort of go along with this. So, I found the Call of the Dead solo pretty easy overall, and so does the co-op, where the steps are really pretty simple when you think about it. The only problem is RNG. You do need the VR11, so that can be a bit awkward, but other than that, I'd say it's a fairly easy Easter egg. It's not that bad. Shangri-La. Now, Shangri-La is annoying. I'll be completely honest with you. I mean, I found the Easter egg to be quite enjoyable, to tell you the truth. Once you know what you're doing, you can communicate well, but you do need 4 players for it, so that does make it a lot more difficult than the previous ones we've done so far. And if you're not very good at communicating and timing things correctly, and you have to open in Eclipse mode, the steps can be quite finicky. There's steps where you have to guide one of the fire zombies across the map without it exploding. That is quite a challenge to do. And you have to like convert these. I think you have to this tile step, and you have to symbol step, and you have to like convert it with the other person on the other side of the microphone. So you have to be good at describing things. But having 4 players and being in Eclipse mode, so you have time to do all the steps, made the steps a lot trickier. So I'm actually going to put that in hard. I think it deserves it. It's not insane, but it's definitely a tricky Easter egg. Moon was one of the best Easter eggs of all time, in my opinion. Had a lot going for it. The Earth blew up in it. I mean, the problem is though, it did set up Tranzit, which was one of the worst maps of all time. But in terms of difficulty, the steps weren't too bad. It was fairly well balanced, but you did need a lot of RNG to get the wave gun and the EMP grenades. And you had to be pretty good at Simon Says as well, because the Simon Says step from the last step was fairly tricky. But overall, it wasn't too terrible. Wasn't too hard. I wouldn't say it was easy because you do have to be fairly good at the map in order to get these steps, especially with the Simon Says. So I'm going to put like medium. Tranzit. The Easter egg for Tranzit was awful. It was just literally just lighting up a tower, and that was literally about it. Like, there was nothing else to it. So that was a big disappointment. The steps themselves weren't actually that bad. They were just boring to complete. I'm just going to have to put that one in easy. There's not much to it, really. Nuketown didn't have one. Die Rise's Easter egg is an interesting one. because when this first came out, I found this Easter egg a bit annoying with like the timing and stuff. But this Easter egg's been completed in like ridiculously short amount of times, like from like 5-10 minutes. And when you do go back and play it with other people, it is actually not too bad. But you do need other players to do it, so that could make it a bit trickier. But despite that, I would probably say it is a... I'll give it medium for now, but I might change my mind because I'm 100% sure. Mob of the Dead, I'm going to put straight in easy. It was a good Easter egg. It was just like a nice change of pace. It wasn't anything too complicated. You just had to go to pack a punch 3 times, really, do a couple of other things. There wasn't really much to it. It was just, I think it was just to introduce the concept of the cycle to you about going on the plane and stuff and how you'll die over and over. So it wasn't anything crazy. Right, Buried. Now, Buried had a few tough steps, really tough steps. Especially, you probably guessed it, the sharpshooter step. If you haven't got a player, if you haven't got players who can shoot their targets accurately and quick enough, you're going to be there for a very long time. Believe me, I know it was a nightmare. And you have to do this both on the Max's side and the Richtober side. There wasn't any getting out of it, because if there was, I'd have happily done the side without that step, because that step alone was a nightmare. But the other steps are pretty cool. I mean, there's Round Infinity, that was also pretty hard. I wouldn't say it's insane though, because it is achievable. So I'm going to put it in hard as well next to Shangri-La. Origins, for me personally, and probably many of you in community, probably say this is it's between hard and medium, because I feel like it depends which version you play, because the BO3 version's obviously easy, but I think in this list it does include the BO3 version, so I have to bear that in mind. The BO2 version of Origins did have a lot of skips in it though that you could utilize if you know what you were doing, and to skip some of the steps. I'm actually going to put it in medium. It wasn't too bad. The ball ache for this Easter egg in particular was to build all this and upgrade all the stuff. That took a while, but then after that the steps are fairly simple. Right, Shadows of Evil. Now the Shadows of Evil Easter egg has to be completed with 4 players. That ranks at least medium or above for me. The steps themselves aren't complicated, but you do need... it's very difficult to do without Gobblegums and the Apothecary Servant because of the flag step, where you have to protect the flags with all the meatballs coming in and all the zombies attacking it. It's pretty tricky, actually. And you do need pretty good communication. The Shadow Man boss fight's fairly easy. I say other than the flag step, it isn't too bad though, so I'm probably going to put it in medium and probably leave it there. The Giant, Baby could do it. It's literally the same map as Doris, and the Easter egg is exactly the same. There's no more than he said. Dead Ops Arcade, there's no Easter egg. Eisendrache. Now, Eisendrache's Easter egg for me is probably like considered a perfect Easter egg. I'd rank it one of the best of all time in terms of its steps and concepts. I mean, I might rank them one day in terms of how fun they are. But Eisendrache's Easter egg is simple and easy to follow. There's not too much to it. The boss fight's good. The boss fight's fairly challenging. That's the hardest step, and it can screw you over because it has got an insta down mechanic, which is a little bit annoying. But other than that, it's not too bad. I won't say it's easy because you do need to be able to at least craft one of the bows and stuff, and complete and be able to time the steps well with the silence says and all that kind of stuff. And the keep step can be a bit annoying if you've chose to upgrade. It depends which bows you choose to upgrade, I suppose. And the boss fight can be challenging at times without Gobblegum, so I'm probably going to stick it in mediums next to Shadow of Evil. Zetsubou No Shima is easy. The only issue with this Easter egg is it is a bit boring. Like, you're just essentially watering plants all the time, finding 3 cogs for an elevator. It can take quite a while to do actually, because you do need to upgrade you need to get the Masamune, which can take a long time. There is 2 boss fights, but both of them are very simple. It's just a big spider about halfway through the Easter egg, and then the second half is the Takeo fight, in which you can just do that by training around the map. Okay, Gorod Krovi. Now, Gorod Krovi, I'd say, is the hardest Easter egg in WWII Zombies by far. So I'd probably put it in hard. Some of the steps are very, very difficult. The Mangler step, the Valkyrie step, where you have to escort them around the map. and they go very slow. If you don't have Undead Man walking, it's nearly impossible, or other gobblegums. There's a couple, but Undead Man walking is literally your friend in this map. The step with the bombs is quite difficult, especially on COD, because you have to look at the screen and defuse the bombs in the correct order. And if you don't, you and all of your team will probably die doing this step. It's an instant death step. I wouldn't say it's impossible though, and insanely difficult. You just need to be very good at the map, and but once you're sort of good at the map and know what you're doing, it's not too terrible. It's good. It is a tough one, but I won't say it's insane. I might change my mind. Revelations. Now, Revelations is a little bit is one of them Easter eggs that does my head in, because the fact this took ages to even find like the first step and how to do it. It took forever to solve. I remember back in 2016 or whenever it was, finding the steps for this particular Easter egg was an absolute nightmare. Like nobody was able to work out where things were, what you needed to do, because everything was so well hidden. The steps themselves are like fetch quests and a bit of a disappointment. The boss fight wasn't too difficult. There isn't any steps as such that I would consider hard in this Easter egg. Like, I really wouldn't. It just takes a long time to complete it. It's a tricky one. I'm going to put it in medium, only because the steps themselves are very obscure and you do have to spend a lot of time finding things, and it can take a while. Voyage of Despair, I'm going to put it right up at the top of Insane. This Easter egg is not impossible. I mean, Insane isn't impossible anyway, but this Easter egg is very difficult. The planet step, the clock step, the boss fight, literally all the steps. There's not a single step that I can think of that I consider easy. And the map itself is garbage anyway. And on top of that, they threw one of the most difficult Easter eggs of all time, in my opinion. It was not fun. I didn't enjoy it. Found it very tricky to do. And when I did do it, I don't think I ever played the map again, to be honest with you. 9. Now, I remember on a tier list that I did watch, it wasn't a tier list, but it was a ranking. Someone put this as number 2 hardest. And I can see why, because some of the steps on the 9 Easter egg aren't that simple. There's a step where you have to go to one of the statues and you have to kill special enemies in a specific order while you're locked down in an area, and that step is a massive pain. And then there's a step where you have to shoot the Circuit's Kiss in a specific way to shoot these symbols, unless you've not got a guide in the exact position, and you can spend forever doing the step. The boss fight's not too bad because you've got loads of space. I wouldn't say it's the number 2 hardest though, I'd just say it just takes a while. I'd probably put it in it's a tricky one this, but I'm gonna go with medium. Is it medium or is it hard? I'm gonna go hard. People might disagree with this and put it in medium, but it can be challenging. Those steps that I mentioned are hard. That's are quite tricky. Blood of the Dead, you all know where I'm going to put this, at least I hope you do. Easily the hardest Easter egg in Treyarch Zombies, and arguably in Call of Duty history. The steps for this were very, very difficult. You had to wait to round 18 unless you used a glitch almost to get the Easter egg to start. So starting round 18 in itself is a nightmare, because all the zombies at that point are at like optimal speed and all the rest of it, so it makes it really tricky. You have to use the shield all the time, so you have to keep getting souls. It's literally the whole Easter egg was use the shield and do this, do that. There were some steps that were fairly easy, but there was a step in the lighthouse or something where you had to have a ghost with the Simon Says. It was terrible, and it made it really tricky. The boss fight was easy though, but the steps to get there, no, absolutely not. Classified. Now, Classified does have an Easter egg. It's interesting this, because it's technically not an Easter egg like a traditional one, but the objective is extremely like long-winded. You have to get to round 150 on this map, and I'm not joking, I'm not just saying that. Round 150, and it's not a fun time at all. It's pretty easy to do with a strategy where you sit in a corner, but it's very time consuming. I'm going to put it in hard because it's not insane because there's not a lot of complicated steps to it, but you have to have a lot of endurance and motivation and dedication, all that stuff to complete that Easter egg. Dead of the Night. So for me, the problem with Dead of the Night's Easter egg, something it's not a problem with, is there's a lot of parts in the map, and some of the steps are quite confusing and complex. You have to be very good at puzzle solving. So that alone for a lot of the casual community is off-putting. The boss fight wasn't too bad, but to get there it can be quite tricky. I wouldn't say it's insane because once you understand the steps, they're not too bad, and the map's not that bad either. There's lots of space and stuff to move around, and you've got one of the best wonder weapons, the Alistair's Folly. So that doesn't make it that bad. I'm going to put it in hard though because it is quite tricky to get done. Okay, Ancient Evil. Now, Ancient Evil, to me anyway, the Easter egg wasn't that bad. There was a couple of steps that I do remember. I think there's one we had to protect one of the perks, and the stupid school enemies kept like trying to block the light or something. That stage of step was annoying. You do have to upgrade the quite a lot of the gauntlets, which does make it a bit tricky. And the boss fight it can be hard at times. It kind of depends on how you approach it. I found it not too bad though. I think I did complete it on my first try, but I did watch a YouTube video before, so I knew exactly how it flows. So I probably should have done that. But I'd probably stick it in medium. I might change my mind on that, but I think medium is an appropriate place to put it. Okay. Alpha Omega. I'm going to put this one in medium as well. This Easter egg, it's got one step with a crawler. You have to follow the crawler around the map. That step can be a bit tricky, but other than that, the Easter egg's actually not that bad. The Avogadro boss fight it's not hard. It's easy. It's easy to an extent once you know what you're doing. It's very cramped, but if you've got a ray gun Mark II, it's not that bad, and you can use the elixirs to your advantage as well. People forget that. Tag Dirt and Toten. I mean, this is one of the most disappointing Easter eggs. The steps weren't hard or anything, but I just thought the ending was disappointing. There was no boss fight. It's medium. I don't know what to say about it really. It was alright. The Maschine, I'd say, is easy. It's Cold War Zombies, and this Easter egg there was nothing to it really. You just got all four variants of the die shockwave, and then a lot of it was just interacting with anomaly ghosts most of the time. And then there wasn't even a boss fight. You just protected someone while they did something in the pack-a-punch room, killed a bunch of zombies, and then escaped. It was very, very easy. Basically, if you know how to play the map well, which isn't hard to do, by the way, you can get that could get done in no time. Dead Ops RK3, no Easter egg. Firebase Z. There's a step. The boss fight's easy. Most of the other steps are easy. The only step that people have a little bit of trouble with is the mimic step, and that is very glitchy and annoying, by the way. But I'd say it is easy overall. There's not much difficulty to it at all. Okay, now I've got to be very careful with this one because there's two Outbreak Easter eggs. One is easier than the other. The first one was the harder of the two. The Legion boss fight, that was one of the hardest boss fights of all time, or could be considered one of the hardest. You had a limited time to kill him. There was boss zombies everywhere. I'm talking panzers, manglers, mimics, you name it. They were all hanging around there, and he did a lot of damage if you went near him as well. The second Easter egg wasn't as difficult, and I mean the Outbreak Easter egg, to me, other than the boss fight on that first one, wasn't that bad. The steps were fairly simple. It was a bit luck based with the map transitions, but I'd probably put this one in medium. Mauer Toten. I'm going to put this one in medium as well. The steps to get, the boss fight was very tricky as well. On par with Legions, I'd argue. It was a really intense boss fight, I remember that. She did a lot of damage with her attacks, and she could wipe you out in one move. But the steps to get there weren't that bad, so we're going to put that in medium. Forsaken, I'm going to put in easy. I'm sorry, but the steps on this were unbelievably easy. Very, very simple. Got that done in a few minutes, and I'm not even exaggerating either. And the boss fight wasn't hard either, because you had that much space and cover. The boss wasn't doing any damage to you whatsoever. Like, I was quite disappointed almost with that. Carrier. Oh boy, this is definitely one of the harder Easter eggs on this list. Do I put it in insane? Yes, and the reason for this is, and people may disagree with me, and I don't mind that at all, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but Carrier for me was a very, like, these steps took ages to complete. I remember trying to get the correct objects from that zombie was a nightmare. And the lasers, I mean, the laser step wasn't that bad actually, but it was just too time consuming to the point where if you haven't got the mental endurance to do it, then you might as well not even bother. And the humans got in the way when they were shooting you. There was a lot of problems with it. It just took too long, and I think when it comes to Easter egg, if it takes a long time, it should be considered hard because you have to have a lot of mental endurance to get them done. Descent, I didn't find Descent too bad to my knowledge. Like, I thought the Easter egg was alright. I could be wrong, I hardly remember it to be fair, but I'm going to say it was pretty easy. I didn't find anything that bad about it, really. Unless I'm wrong, like, you might have to tell me in the comments whether I'm wrong about that, but I remember the Easter egg being alright. Infection, well, the map itself's hard because it gets locked down 24/7. The Easter egg steps themselves weren't bad, it was just to cook a burger. And it wasn't hard to complete. I'm going to put that in easy as well, along with Outbreak, because I found that fairly easy as well. It wasn't too bad. There wasn't much to that Easter egg. But Attack of the Radioactive thing, you know where I'm putting it. I know where I'm putting it. I'm putting that there. I'm changing Carrier to hard, actually. Attack of the Radioactive thing is horrible. There's one step that everyone knows I'm going to say. You literally have to be, like, really good at chemistry and know how it all works. And that is the chemistry step, where you have to mix chemical compounds in the correct order, and if you don't do it and mess it up, it's practically impossible to complete. The boss fight itself is insane. You have to memorize loads of codes. It's a complete nightmare. I hated it. I hated doing it. It was a drag. It took me ages to work out what to do. And yeah, Raven the Redwoods. The boss fight was quite challenging, from what I remember, but the steps to get there weren't too bad, so I'm going to put that in a medium. Challenge Shuffle. Oh god, I actually struggle to remember this one, but it was against the Rat King, and to my knowledge, it wasn't too bad in terms of difficulty. The boss fight was very iffy. I remember it being a little bit confusing of how you actually kill the Rat King. It's definitely I'm going to put it in medium. I think that's a fair place to put that. Beast from Beyond. The Easter egg was a bit boring, but the boss fight was just a bullet sponge. Took a very long time to complete. But I think I remember the Easter egg being fairly easy. It was let down, but it wasn't too bad. Zombies in Spaceland, I'm gonna put in hard, and I think you guys know why. I completed this Easter egg at launch, so in the first few weeks, and the alien boss fight was a nightmare, and I died to it multiple times on solo, co-op, and I think sometimes that one step can make a difference in terms of difficulty, and that alien boss fight did my head in. It's way above medium, and I think it deserves to be up there. Okay. Gostin House, no Easter egg. Darkest Shore. Trying to remember this Easter egg. I don't think it was that bad step-wise, but the boss fight was tricky and annoying, and it was really foggy. I did have a lot of trouble with it, actually, now thinking about it. But I found the steps to get there not too bad. I'm going to put that in medium as well. There's a lot of them in medium. Right, Final Reich. There was a solo and there was a easy and a hard version of this Easter egg, and you know what? I'm gonna do some swapping. No, I'm not. That's a lie. I'm gonna keep that there. Final Reich, medium. Darkest Shore, hard. Final Reich wasn't too bad once you knew what you were doing. Frozen Dawn. Don't remember it very well. I really don't remember it very well. I'm gonna probably say medium though, because I think you had to upgrade the weapons and the boss fight was quite difficult from what I remember. Shadow Throne, I enjoyed this Easter egg quite a lot and I didn't find it too bad. Medium again. Tortured Path, insane. Oh dear, you had to complete all 3 of the maps, and then I'm pretty sure you had to be in a public match to complete the steps, and you had to like complete steps of the Easter egg on top of like surviving the maps alone. The maps on the Torture Path were really hard to like do, and all I remember is people complaining about the way they dealt with this Easter egg. It was so difficult to do. You had to have 4 players who were insanely good at the game. Even completing the maps normally without the Easter egg was horrendous. The steps were crap. Hated it, absolutely hated it, and it deserves to be up there just for the requirement alone of being in a public match with 4 people. I think it was a public match. Durham Fang, easy. The step, I mean, it was a terrible map. And then there's actually a couple missing maps on this list, but I couldn't care less because there wasn't really. The Terra Maledicta, easy. I think they had Easter eggs. I can't remember, to be honest with you. I didn't pay much attention to Vanguard Zombies, but the Easter egg was. They were both pretty simple. The steps were simple. There was nothing to them. I mean, they put no effort in these Easter eggs whatsoever. By the way, like they added them late and everything. It was terrible. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this list overall. Let me know what you think in the comments below, because everyone has their own opinion. But yeah, that is actually it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.